What's up everybody and welcome to another edition of AGR's Pop Culture Reviews. I trust by now that you've been able to see the definitive edition of Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice. And in honor of that much needed director's cut, today we're going to be taking a look at Hot Toys Sideshow exclusive Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice 1/6 scale Superman figure. As I've mentioned in the past, Hot Toys is really at the top of its game when it comes to high-end collectibles and famous movie recreations. And one of the reasons that they call these figures movie masterpieces is that they work very closely with the sculptor and the artist to get that perfect recreation from whatever it is that they're trying to put in 1/6 scale. And oftentimes the result is spectacular. So let's take a closer look. This is actually Hot Toys' second iteration of the Henry Cavill portrayal of Superman, and I have to say, it's pretty damn impressive. Ladies, if you've ever wanted a small version of Henry Cavill sitting on your desk at work, this is the figure to get. I was already an incredible fan of the original Headsculpt on the first Superman figure, but this is absolutely amazing. That Headsculpt is incredible. That's Henry Cavill. I always measure the head sculpt by how much it freaks me out, in a good way, and this one was freaking me the hell out. It's so lifelike, it's really something special. They've also made some very subtle improvements to the overall suit. Now the original one was a lot more rubbery and therefore less malleable, but this suit is a little bit thinner and it makes you able to pose the figure a little better. I also did notice that the colors on this figure are a little less washed out, so it makes it a little more vibrant, which is always a good thing. This is especially true with the subtle accents that can be found throughout the suit. I really love the contrast of that cobalt blue. It really gives the suit a nice touch. If you recall from my review of the DC collectible statue, they also put a lot of emphasis on his quadricep muscles, which is always a great thing. In this case, it's very impressive. I love the musculature just underneath the suit, and because it's a lot thinner, they really stand out. Now in my opinion, here's where I think that the figure really shines in terms of detail, and it's definitely in the boots. Now, if you recall, a couple years ago, Hot Toys made a line of figures for the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films. What made those figures great, apart from the incredible articulation, is the fact that they didn't paint on the webbing. Instead, they made it textured throughout the entire suit. And that's what they did with these boots. They essentially duplicated that effect here. They've also made a very big improvement to the overall cape. Now, what sets this apart from the previous cape is that the material is a lot lighter. It's actually very silky, and therefore tremendously more malleable. Now granted, it doesn't have a wire running throughout the cape, but you can't find other ways to simulate Superman being in flight. And that's one of the reasons that I find this cape far superior to the previous iteration. Because it's so light, it doesn't take a lot to manipulate the cape. I was also very impressed with the hip grabber and the rod that comes with this figure. It's very low profile, and just like the DC statue, after a while you don't even notice it. Hands down, one of the most favorite things about this piece for me is definitely the base. Now, you know how I am. This one has a very small footprint relative to the figure, and overall, it could be an impressive piece all by itself. Great detail, great color contrast, and there's also another special, unique thing about this base. That's right, you can actually flip it open to reveal the now iconic Batman vs Superman logo. That's just a really cool touch, and if you'll notice, even the colors change a little bit when you flip it open. As I mentioned in the intro, I was able to get my hands on the Sideshow exclusive of this figure. What you get with the exclusive figure is a chunk of kryptonite that can be seen in the film. It also lights up, and Sideshow Collectibles was kind enough to provide the batteries so that you can light it up. The only other accessories that comes with this figure is 6 other pairs of hands, so it gives you a lot more options in terms of dynamic poses. The really great thing about this figure is that because the suit is much lighter, you really can take advantage of the rest of these hands, and I'm always really impressed to see how collectors are able to pose the figure. I also have to mention these are by far some of the most impressive and detailed hands that I've seen on a Hot Toys figure. Overall guys, this is another magnificent piece by Hot Toys. They really outdid themselves with this one. I can't wait for the Batman and Wonder Woman corresponding figures. Before I go, I just gotta give a special shout out to Sideshow Collectibles for sending this wonderful piece over for review. Okay guys, so that's my official review on the Hot Toys Sideshow exclusive Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice 1/6 scale figure of Superman. As always, I thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next AGR's Pop Culture Reviews.